That bloody Yamaha chip they stuck in the ST was a real problem. Operation Wolf! I ain't played this on the Amiga for a long time. Long time. Let's 1988, eh? Alright, it's not the Dun Beetle. I'm done with the Dun Beetle. The Amiga version was meant to be better. Can't see how, because it didn't come with some metal Uzi light gun thingies, did it? Right, we just have to swap the old discs around here. So, from the clickety click things. Gonna have to, I'm sure it's a mouse-based game, so why isn't the mouse working? Okay, graphics look very shit already. Oh, the mouse is working actually. How do you reload again? Does it say? I'll just use this button on this side of the keyboard to be better for me. I like to hit the hostages. YMMV, but I like to hit the hostages. It's very slow as well. Nah, this is shit. Look how slow it's scrolling. And it's not like, it's because the characters moving on the screen are unbelievably fast. This is it's a terrible problem. Terrible. And it wouldn't really matter if I was playing this on a real Atari ST with a low DPI mouse or on the emulator like I'm doing in this case. So phew, that's justified. Yeah, these videos are not real hardware. Oh, I don't remember the buzzard. Why can't I shoot the buzzard, goddammit? I can't remember how you fired a grenade. Is it space? Oh, that's it, yeah. Pew. Pew. Why ain't got unlimited rockets? What a shit fucking crap this turned out to be. Missile in your bumhole, missile for the vulture, sir. So yeah, these videos are not going to be, real hardware. Yeah, I've got real hardware. No, I'm doing these on emulator. What kind of shit trainer is this then? What exactly have they trained? They fucking train their arseholes to take their daddy's cock. Birdie is a dickhead. Don't tell him I said that, I'm just reading it off the bottom of the screen there on this crap. I don't know who Birdie is, he might beat me up, innit? Alright, let's check out 1943. title screen's right, nothing special, about 3 frames of animation. Right, is that all set up for me to go? Right, space is smart bomb. Right, off we go. It's very smooth the way they're doing that water thing. That's the sort of thing you do. Constantly redefined like characters on the C64. But the ST is a bitmap screen. There's no such. I don't know really. What would you call it? Feature, exploit. Hey man, stop taking out my guys in it. So yeah, you've got the clouds at parallax, and you've got the island on the bottom, which is scrolling with the weird water, but it's a weird pattern. It's like when you look at the roof lining on, like, you know, the cars, the classic cars, the one that's got them like little dots on the white leatherette. Adlan, go away from the camera. Adlan, stop it, buddy. Have another go. So yeah, it's really smooth, that's the thing. I suspect that area of the screen is exactly 256 pixels wide. There's a technical reason why that's important, and I can't tell you what it is. I've done it again. I don't like games where if you shoot the power up it changes. That's bullshit. Because I just want the energy at the moment. Please give me the energy. I need to finish my kitchen. But you do want things like that. So I seem to be using it. See, and then the auto fire goes off. See, if I was playing it on the zip stick, I'd have auto fire. So all the emulators should really have an auto fire option. Really. Because what idiot buys a home computer and doesn't buy a joystick with fucking auto fire on it? Nostalgia nerd, probably. Tecmo, another arsehole. Yeah, there's loads of arseholes on YouTube, mate. Not me though, I'm not an arsehole. It's them officer, not me. Oh man, I didn't fucking want that one. Although that might actually help me. Offensive failed, didn't it? See, initial attack unsuccessful. So what? It just ends the game if you don't sort out the boss. I don't like that. That's like a dumb idea if you ask me. So really, to enjoy this game I need to find another fucking crack rather than this arse crack of a crack which has got no trainers at all. So yeah, enough with the rubbish ST music by that useless prick Jonathan Dunn. I'm gonna call him Beetle. He's a done Beetle. Shit. Anyway, luckily the programmers and the artists on this project were pretty good. Now this is an 8-way scrolling game on the Atari ST, and it's I'd say it's about 75% of the screen for the game window, and miracle upon miracles, it actually scrolls pretty damn good in all directions, even like left and right. Now I don't actually like this level. Actually, I don't like the game, to be honest, because whatever level you're on, once you lose a life, it pretty much puts you back to the start, I think. So, and you know, it's quite unfair because you can't actually shoot up at them. You can only shoot your crappy little toys left and right, sort of thing like this. So you take a lot of hits. You take one for the team like Gary Bracey, even though he loves taking it. Yeah, anyway, this is from the Gary Bracey era version, but really this is not a bad ST game. If you like this kind of thing, you know, I'm talking this level specifically, then you can't really complain about the ST version, except for the shit music. Jonathan Dunn, like I said, is a fucking talentless prick. You know, he's done like one decent tune and done a very, very, very mild 5% different version to make a second tune. So we're talking about the Robocop and the Batman loaders here on the C64. There's no fucking treble at all on the Amiga music, because obviously my Amiga's connected up to my Pioneer Hi-Fi with the Spectrum analyzers, and I can see that there's no fucking treble on there. It's a real slapdash effort, whoever was doing the music, but at least this, you know, the music is not bad on the Amiga. I won't fucking burn a CD or nothing and play them, you know, in my car or anything like that. They're not that bloody good, but they're okay. Now, the ST can play the Amiga mod tunes, so I don't know why Jonathan Dunn didn't like get the programmers to, like, you know, run a routine on the title page to at least do that. Loads of games did that. I mean, Xenon 2 does it as well. Anyway, that don't really matter. The important thing is here, the graphics are identical on the ST and the Amiga version, because it's a 16 colour game with a 16 colour status panel. So there we go, this is the best bit of the game for me. And yeah, I'm not going to say miracle upon miracle, I'll just say surprise upon surprise, and that's a sarcastic surprise. This is almost identical to the Amiga version. So the Amiga version is an ST port job with like some different sound and music. Typical Ocean Amiga catalogue, that is. ST port job with different music and sound effects. But yeah, what I never liked about this game was you had to play the crappy first level so you could have fun playing this level. Now, unfortunately on the Atari ST, there's no cracked version where you get unlimited like energy, no damage, invincibility, whatever you want to call it. They all proclaim there is a cheat on it, but it's the built-in cheat mode, which is shit. Because like I say, when you lose a life, you just, you know, start back at the beginning. You're definitely on the first level, which is infuriating because I don't want to play that level. This should have been the start of the game. And then, you know, once you've enjoyed this, maybe you put up with the obtuse platforming section, which is actually very difficult. Although, to be fair, Super Star Wars on the SNES was the same sort of thing. You wanted to get on the snow speeder, not snow speeder. You wanted to get on the land speeder level, which is level 2, which turned out to be just as infuriating as level 1. But you had to play the insanely difficult and obtuse bloody platforming level first. So, but yeah, I mean, Ocean said that this routine, this driving routine, would be the basis for the Chase HQ conversion. And then one day, I believe Gary Bracey got a bit drunk, had sex with someone involved with the Continental Circus game engine, and then when he woke up the next morning, he, you know, he'd already signed a bit of paper saying, I love you, I'm going to let you do Chase HQ for us with your crappy Continental Circus routine, which is shit. Horrible fucking routine. One of the worst driving game engines ever. But this is actually quite good. You've actually got parallax scrolling in the background, which we'll see in a second when I turn around the corner. Come on, mate. Yeah, look, see? So you've got parallax scrolling, you've got loads of roadside objects, and the road doesn't look like a fucking twizzle stick. Yeah, they're like licorice twists in America. The graphics are nice, they're all 16 colours, clearly. There's plenty of colour going on. Really, it's actually a really good sort of thing. I don't know why Ocean didn't use it, and to add insult to injury, Ocean sent out preview screenshots of Chase HQ for the ST and Amiga to Zap 64 and Amiga magazine, who printed it, I can't remember what issue, and it looks a hell of a lot better than the fucking shit that they put out. But this level is actually doable. You know, you can, if you don't rush it, you do have enough time to make it. I can't remember if I actually did it on this attempt when I was recording it. So you've got to be careful here, because if you miss more than 3 times with the turning, then you do end up, you know, losing the life. So, and you've got to really avoid the cars, because you know, you can't take that many hits. Imagine if you hit 10 other cars in Lotus 2 or something, and then you have to start again at the start. It's a stupid idea. But then, you know, Ocean 16-bit games, fucking forget it, mate. Unless they're doing fucking sandal wearing prick quality. Well, that's not good for the camera. But the camera is still recording. Oh, it looks quite good on the old projector, Unia. The retro gaming gods have gone against me. But yeah, I mean, Ocean can only do simple things like Snow Brothers and Pang and shit like that. Most of their complicated tasks were a fucking failure. But then they also were for US Gold, Activision, Domark. Pretty much anyone who had to convert a high-end 68,000 based arcade game, they all fucked it up. But Chase HQ is their biggest cock up. And of course you go on Amiga forums and it's like, nothing wrong with Amiga Chase HQ, what's wrong with it? I'll tell you what's wrong with it, mate. You've got a fucking brain the size of a fucking garden pea and less taste than fucking Monica Lewinsky. You fucking... Or Bill Clinton, come to that. Who could fuck that fucking idiot? Anyway, you get it all on my channel. But yeah, it is doable. Ooh, see, we're getting quite... I think I can only crash 2 more times. And then we're in trouble, so... Bloody cat knocking the camera over. Fuck's sake! Put me right off that as. So I think I can only hit 1 more car. So that's why we're going a bit slow. And we do it with 5 seconds to spare. So, yeah, now we've got the flying section. Now the flying section has got a weird control system. So you have to hold the fire button and push up and down to accelerate and decelerate, and not hold the fire button and push up and down to go higher and lower in altitude. So it is quite a tricky game, and obviously it's the same thing as the driving section. You can only like crash into about 10 objects and then you've got to start again. Now the other problem is, because the bat plane is right in the middle of the screen, you can't see fuck all what's coming in front of you, so that makes it very tricky. But the graphics are nice, the buildings are exactly the same, and the the 2.5D scaling effect of the little balloons. I believe there's 2 types of balloons, and for some reason one of them there's a frame missing on it. Bad crack. I don't know if I got this for the ST. But the sound effects are actually better on this level than the driving level, so I'm pretty sure I didn't actually do this level, but even if I had, it wouldn't have made any difference, because I don't like playing level 1, 3 or 5. Level 3 is the worst. It's like some crap puzzle game sort of thing. No thank you, mate. But yeah, really, I don't know why no one has cracked this game and used this game engine to do a nice racing game. But yeah, as you can see, you can't really line up with the I suppose they're ropes that hold the balloons to the base, because your backplane is so big. They really should have just done like an outline and made it see-through so you can see where the bloody hell you're going. And you also can't see the hills that come towards you because the backplane is not self-leveling. These are just bad design decisions. They're not really... It's not really the ST's fault. Can't blame the ST for these problems. It won't make any difference technically to the ST if it did, a see-through outline of the backplane. Now on the driving section, it's not a problem because you're at the bottom of the screen, and the perspective means you can see where the cars are coming from. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more of a wasted routine this is, because this routine never got used for anything else. They should probably have used it for burning rubber, because burning rubber, which I believe is Ocean, is an absolutely shit driving game. Both to play, and the pixel art is fucking horrible. Some fucking art school prick wannabe who didn't even get into art school. He was refused entry, he was that shit. doing the graphics, and the coding is horrendous. They would have been better off just using this game engine and hiring a different graphic artist. But there you go, mate. What are you going to say, eh? You can say what you want, really. That's what the comments are for on YouTube. Now, obviously, if you're going to say you're drunk or something stupid like that, then you're going to get blocked. That's just one of the few pleasures left of having a creator's channel. Although that sounds very pompous. Everyone's channel can be a creator's channel. But you can't upload 12-hour videos unless you give YouTube your mobile phone number in it. Other than that, I think you're limited to 10 or 15 minutes. Not that it really matters. Starting a new channel is it's a bit of a bust, really. But yeah, I mean, you have to go so bloody slow, it kind of defeats the object. But no, it is an impressive bit of coding. But unlike the driving section, it is pretty unplayable because of the size of your bloody plane right in the middle of the screen. You know, like I said, they should have had like an outline or a dithered image or something so you could like see through it. It won't make any difference, like I said, to the speed of the gameplay. Good old David Whittaker and his YM tunes. It's a bit confusing cycling through exactly what you want. But anyway, we got there in the end. So the graphics are really nice. I do believe Codemasters games were £9.99. Now, if you only have an ST and you have to buy some games, and you like Super Sprint type games, and that's really what it comes down to, I guess, then 10 quid's not bad. It's a pretty good update, actually. I do like the visuals. I wish I could have recorded the audio while I was actually playing this. It always makes me laugh when you crash and they fall off their bike. Because me and my friends used to do insane stunts on our crappy little rally strikers and grifters and BMXs and all that. And we used to fall off a lot, obviously. Most of the time we didn't. There was many epic times where little Osiris and his little rally striker parted ways in mid-air. But anyway, I won't go into that too much, but it's the same playability. Now, if I did have an ST and a C64 at the same time, I'd probably buy the C64 version and put the other £7.50 or whatever it was, or £7.90, well, £8 1p possibly, towards another game, because it was all about building up a games library back then. I've done that many times, Bubble Bobble on the C64 versus the ST. That's nothing negative against the ST version, but like I said, this is absolutely fine, and it's better than buying Super Sprint, the official conversion, or other knockoffs for like 20 quid. So that's really, I did really badly this time. And the music's not bad, so better than that prick Jonathan Dunn anyway. So Double Dragon 3, the Rosetta Stone. Now graphically it looks very nice already, and as the title for this video, gaming without custom chips, it's an alternative slogan you could have used, the most famous one being power without the price. So the you know, the sound effects for the Bish Bash Bosh business, they're a bit standard run of the mill kind of Spectrum-y, Amstrad-y sort of sounds, which was always a problem the ST was going to have. Of all the things that were bad about the ST, the sound chip probably was the one thing. So scrolling is not too bad, actually. So we've gone into the shop now, and anyway. Nice lady there for you, sir. Have a bit of my tea cake, should I? No, actually. We're gonna celebrate the scrolling, the great scrolling. The scrolling is actually very good when there's nothing on screen. It does jerk up a bit, but luckily, because of the way this game works, there's not much scrolling going on when you're being attacked. So I do like the sprites. The sprites are good. The backgrounds are not bad. Yeah, we're having Space Raiders beef flavour. The only beef flavour crisps along with Monster Munch I can think of. Oh, my cat's just jumped on me. So again, the scrolling is quite nice. It's really the sound that's not brilliant. Sound effects. But the rest of it is quite nice actually. Now if you paid 300 quid or 284 quid for your it's okay. Now oh, put down there. He's had a huge plate of dinner. And it is 2 players at the same time, although no one's allowed around my house, as you well know. Stop asking. Yeah, I think they've done quite a good job with the graphics, must admit, and the programming's not bad. I don't really like games like this, if I'm honest. I didn't see the fascination back when things like Double Dragon came out in the arcade and Renegade, and my mate would play them, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be over here playing bloody Vulcan Venture, thank you. Or probably Salamander, or it's just not really my thing. So I've got to head off to China now. Try and stop them releasing the fucking coronavirus in the world. Bastard! They did do it by accident, but anyway. I think the sound's a bit messed up on this video. I'm not 100% sure though. I just find these kind of games monotonous, but if you do like these kind of games, and like I said, if you bought an ST, I think it was late 1987 when they first dropped to 299, it was really because the Amiga 500 actually initially came out at like 520 quid because you didn't get a modulator with it. So I think that was Atari's attempt to like keep hold of like their sales and their expanding rate of expansion into the market, I guess. And personally, on balance, it wasn't much fun having either an ST or an Amiga to play games on, because the games you really liked, half the time they were done really badly on both. And okay, I don't know why I'm going up and down like that. Right, okay, so we're getting somewhere. Now obviously I'm using some sort of trainer option while I play these games, but that's really so I don't have to spend like months and months playing these games just to do like a 2-hour video or whatever it's going to turn out to be. Because obviously you want to see like different graphics and you know, stuff like that. It's quite important to be able to skip levels in Batman, for example, so I can show you the driving section. Yeah, these Space Raiders deflated, they're actually quite nice. They're not very good value for money though. Yeah, I was supposed to go farm foods today. Let's hope I can find the extra mozzarella cheese for my pizza a bit later in it. Double Dragon 1 and 2, they don't look great on either the ST and Amiga. Can you guess why? It's always both. Anyway. But if you had an ST like I was saying, and you only spent like that sort of money, 280 something odd quid, about a year after they probably stopped selling the Commodore 128, or certainly when it was 279. That's not bad considering it's got a disk drive. I think the graphics on the backgrounds are okay, but I think the real highlight is that the scrolling isn't terrible, which is always nice to see as a ST owner back then. And the sprites, well, the translations of the arcade sprites into software sprites, I suppose. If you're going to be that picky, why are you watching my fucking videos anyway? You wouldn't have got this far anyway. Obtuse people usually click off after about 30 seconds. Thank fuck. They're really annoying to fucking block them. But yeah, you know, it's the characters. The animation's quite nice. Graphics are actually really well done for a 16 colour game, which they have to be on the ST. It's just a shame that this sort of talent didn't go in towards Double Dragon 2. But anyway, you get the idea. Fire and Forget 2. There is also a Fire and Forget. Based on how this goes, we might try that. I have pressed T for trainer, because I need a new pair of trainers. Ooh, 4 colours there, they could have done that logo in medium resolution. No one used medium resolution on the ST correctly. They only used the highest or the lowest resolution. The one in the middle is shit. Which is why anyone who says Amstrad Mode 1 games are good, he must love text adventures, all I've got to say. The music's already better than Jonathan Dunn's efforts on Batman. But that's pretty impressive actually. Although there's not many roadside objects, but it's the same with the Amiga. It looks very similar to the Amiga version. Well, that could be a port job, I guess. But they're definitely using like the hardware scroll registers on the Amiga version. Hey, I didn't even press the key to start the game. What's going on there? Right, I have pressed button to go. Right, this is me now. Don't tell lies, innit? Well, it's very skittish on the old hand. So it's kind of like electric light actually. I can't seem to get them. So I'm hitting them. Ah, they take multiple hit to Rumios, right, okay. That's the situation there, mate. Gone did. Yeah, this game has the same sort of weird turning as Crazy Cars 3 Lamborghini Challenge. It's a bit like Daytona USA with like that kind of weird rear wheel steering sort of handling. It's less shit than Chase HQ, but hang on, is it space that makes you fly? You can turn into like a thing when you fly. You turn, there we go. So I suppose it's cool and delicious straight from the fridge like. You can't do that a lot. I like the way it does that when you do the brakes. That's very cool, sir. Not sure about the blue brake lights. Obviously designed by 14-year-olds or dweebs that don't know anything about cars. Anything at all. Your average nerd, right? Your average typical nerd. They know fuck all about cars. They probably have really shit tasting cars, even though they've got a high IQ. Possibly. Not all nerds have got a high IQ. Some are just retards, isn't it? I don't think you're allowed to say that anymore. Please disregard that comment, viewers. Which is what they say in the court of law actually. Please disregard that comment, jurors. And it's like you can't. Someone said something and set off some thought processes in your brain and well, that's about it really. Come on, get up there. It's the old flight controls fucking me up. Oh look, the old deadly dance there, sir. And he blew me up anyway. Yeah, I think you get the idea, actually. Well, I do, so that means you do too. Right then. First off is Galaxia by Budgie UK. This was a public domain company. I believe they did ST game as well. So this is an unusual one. Not just ST games. I think they did branch out later. But anyway. Got many things to eat, but you know, starters first. So this ST game does kind of remind me of the Atari 400-800 version of Galaxia, which for some reason the Atari fanboys are not happy with. But I think it's actually great. I wish the C64 version was like that. It's horrible in the C64, but I was looking at this and thinking, oh yeah, and then I went to see if you could actually get a good, arcade perfect copy of 1979 Galaxia. and on the Amiga, and it turns out not so much, but there is one that gets close, so I did that. So anyway, that's out the way. So the Starfield scrolls are absolutely fine, and like I say, it doesn't actually look like Galaxians, you know, the arcade sprites. But the rest of it is kind of similar. Now your ship does move faster than the arcade Galaxian. But then there does seem to be a little bit more of them coming down and active. Maybe not so much, but that's really the thing that everyone misses with Galaxian. There are two speeds to the Galaxians when they do their kamikaze run. Their slowest speed is the same speed at which you move left and right, and hence their fastest speed is the one when they swoop in and get you. That's really what the gameplay was all about with Galaxian. You have to know that, really. Whether you're writing your own version for a home system or you're just reviewing it for like a magazine. There were actually public domain reviews in various magazines for the ST and the Amiga. I guess maybe, you know, 20-25 quid was a lot of money. Certainly in 1986 when I had a 520 ST, 20 quid was a lot of money. I used to drive to school to do my A-levels, and in 1988, I think like my weekly petrol bill was something stupid like £3. It wasn't worth filling up the car every week. It was like maybe like 10 quid once every 3 weeks or something, even longer. But yeah, it does have that kind of look of like, not what you expect from an ST. If you look at the specs for the ST, apart from the screen height, which is a problem for any machine that's got fixed borders like the ST. And I have seen some images that get rid of the bottom and the top border. There's some sort of like, photo quality images that come in some of the cracks. I don't know if you could do a game with a scrolling Starfield and remove the top and bottom. Maybe a real demo code that could do it, but it's not something you're going to see in a PD games library. Now I don't know what he's used to write this. He's certainly not going to be STOS. So there is something in terms of like, actually learning to program rather than just learning how to use an application like STOS and the basic instructions. I wrote the first bit of Salamander for STOS, and I was hugely disappointed when it started running at about maybe 2 or 3 frames per second. I thought, no! Screwed! I think that's when I stopped all work on doing the graphics. But I've done all the graphics for the start of level 1, before you get to the Buster Blood Vessel tribute part of in the middle. Of course, parallax slowly, I will point that out, just so you know. But yeah, this isn't on that sort of scale. You would think, a game this old in the arcade with such you know, limited technology, it should be possible. You're going to have a problem with the sound, because you're going to have to use software sound playback there. There's not much you can really do about that. And there's more than one sound going on at one time. You've got at least two, because you get the constant background thing, which isn't here. That's the other thing. And it goes woom, woom, woom. Yeah, when that's not there, it's like, it's not really it. The graphics do kind of look like multicolour mode Atari C64. But it's alright for a PD game. You know, I won't buy it on budget or nothing. Gauntlet. Now I had Gauntlet. I bought Gauntlet, I believe, with the adventure game The Pawn. P-A-W-N. Well, I did have some Pawn discs. So yeah, famously they recorded the arcade like tune there on a cassette tape, and then sampled the cassette tape that they'd recorded. Right, so this is my favourite version of Gauntlet because of the increased number of colours on the floor tiles. It's very colourful, and the graphics are quite large actually, compared to Gauntlet 2, which I've never liked. It's like someone said, okay, we're going to improve the speed of the game, and all they did was do ZX Spectrum fucking 2-colour floor tiles, and they reduced all the graphics by about 25%. And that helped the speed. There's some minor improvements to the code, but at what cost, sir? But this looks brilliant. This is obviously a bit hampered by speed though. It's a very early game, and the guy who wrote this game, he wasn't like an expert in machine code. So there is that. Where's my damn cola? This is really how you test the speed on any version. You just let rip with the ghost. So yeah, it does slow down when there's a lot of ghosts. So I come back from the show and I had this and that adventure game. We'll just call it that for now. Stop your childish jokes. I remember playing this late into the night many times, but I loved the arcade game Gauntlet. I used to play it in the local sort of like leisure centre where, you know, people would play sports, that kind of leisure centre. Now this is a ST exclusive as far as ST stroke Amiga stroke Archimedes goes. Now I don't know why I picked the warrior, because I usually go with the wizard or the elf myself, but I think I picked the warrior because he can take more hits. Take one for the team more often without going crazy. Again, the guy who did the graphics for this conversion, he was kind of new to the scene in general, never mind the ST specifically. I believe he could be a fellow countryman looking at his name. But anyway, it's not really that obvious. So when you're playing the game, you don't really notice the problem with the horizontal scrolling as much as when you watch someone else play it. So there's always that. And I always believed that it would have been better for them to like just improve the scrolling a little bit, but leave the graphics at the same size and the floor tiles the same sort of like 4 colours or whatever they're using here. Just looks better, much better. So, you know, I'd always play Gauntlet 1 and never play Gauntlet 2 on the ST. Today, that still applies pretty much. To be honest, I'd either play this version of Gauntlet or Gauntlet 4 on the Mega Drive and nothing else. That's about it really. Although the Amstrad version is really good, it's just that the arcade machine is a 16-bit arcade machine, and you need a 16-bit, you know, graphics chip and CPU moving things along to really get a nice conversion of the arcade that's remotely like the arcade, and it is kind of like the arcade with like broken scrolling hardware. Because the graphics are nice, especially on the CRT. You're probably watching them on your crappy LCD screen. That's not really my fault. But no, the graphics are very stylish. They've used the colours very wisely actually. I mean, that jug of XX cider, that's obviously very nicely shaded, but you wouldn't think they'd be able to waste that many shades of yellow, and somehow it all kind of comes together and works. The ghosts look really good, the treasure chest looks really good, obviously the keys look fine there. I think the Barbarian is probably the worst drawn of the lot. However, he's okay, especially on the CRT. So like I said, I used to play this game into the small hours when I should have been doing work for my A-levels. I believe, yeah, on my Sony Trinitron. Same one that I've done loads of videos on the C64 now. But not the exact same TV. You don't want to know what happened to that TV. But anyway, let's not get into the subject of people I'd like to kill if it was legal. Let's get straight with that one. We've got enough dodgy videos coming out soon. So, yeah, it's really just the horizontal scrolling. The vertical scrolling is absolutely fine. And you've got to remember, when I capture these videos, unless the game's running, you know, with an American OS ROM in the emulator, I can't really set them to 60 Hz. Unlike, you know. And, you know, it does cause problem on some games. Now there is a fantastic fixed version of this game which you can download and stick on the hard disk for your Mega STE, and it's actually been updated definitely to work properly with a 16 megahertz CPU. But I believe there's also a version that will use the blitter as well. Which means it's better than the ST port job to the Amiga that exists for this. To play it about this sort of quality, you need an Amiga 1200 with 2 meg RAM. It won't run like this on the Amiga 500 because it's an ST port job. So that's that French guy, he always does that. It's not really his fault. People know that's what they're going to get. He charges them, they pay, and gets released for free, I believe. Yeah, I don't really get into the politics of like things like that anymore. Like I said, I'm done with forums. It's not really my thing anymore. I can't be dealing with people who haven't got a clue what they're talking about, or people with low standards trying to force their low standards onto me. Chase HQ is shit. Just accept it and move on. Don't tell me you nothing wrong with Chase HQ. Chase HQ is shit on the ST. And it's an ST port job on the Amiga, mate. But no, this, I suppose it's kind of similar to, you know, VCS Pac-Man. People are always like, oh shit, oh shit. Shut up, mate. You didn't think VCS Pac-Man was shit at all. You fucking loved it. Because it was either play it on the VCS or go and get fucking robbed in the arcade as a little kid. It's not really an adult's game. Certainly not a male adult's game of the early 80s would be playing that. And this is kind of the same. It's like people look back in there, scrolling shit's got slowed down. Samples are a bit scratchy. But back in 1987 we were really happy with this. This was like, okay, this is how it's going to be. You know, here's one game. I'd rather play this version of Gauntlet than the smoother scrolling Gauntlet one on the C64 with the rubbish graphics. Yeah, if anything, the Amstrad has better scrolling than this as well. Certainly more consistent. Like I said, the up and down scrolling is fine. It's the left and right business. It's a real problem actually. But we didn't care. Just like you didn't care that the ghost flicker. You thought that was intentional as a kid in 1980 or 81, whenever Pac-Man came out. I believe it was 81, 82 at the latest. Anyway. So I was still like a little kid then. But I like the style of the graphics here, and yeah, you know, like I said, I'd rather play this version than any other home computer version. You can say what you want, that's just how it is, mate. I can deal with the slightly stuttering scrolling horizontally and then slow down. You know, it's a phenomenal game. The graphics are really nice, and it's doing sample sound playback. So there you go. What more could you want, mate? Nice graphics as well. 20 quid. I remember after getting this game, I was at an Atari show, and I was looking at an accelerator card, a 16 megahertz CPU accelerator card for the stock ST, and I do remember thinking, I wonder how much better Gauntlet would run if I got one of these. Well, not very, because the early accelerators, they didn't really have any CPU cache or anything. You wouldn't have got anything like the performance of a 16 megahertz Mega STE. So you can, once you get death off the screen, it can't really get you. So that's just really one of those things. If you can get him off the screen before like an exit in or break in the wall turns up, you're okay. I mean, the graphics are just really, really detailed. They're very rich. There's a lot of rich detail in the graphics. That's what I really like. And like I say, on the CRT, a 14-inch CRT, they look brilliant. So that's kind of like, I was like, okay then, so this is how it's going to be with the ST. The kind of games I like are never going to be 100% better, but, you know, I'd rather have this than Gauntlet 1 on the C64. or the Amstrad, or the Spectrum, or the MSX, or dark chambers on the 7800, or Gauntlet on the Atari 800. That's terrible. They use that crappy screen mode where it's 16 shades of one colour in the C64's chunky resolution. It's really terrible. I think the Sorcerer's probably my favourite graphics of the enemies. I mean, he's still got 850 something health. Now what I used to do is when I was playing this on my actual 520 STM with the external disk drive, I used to have like two joysticks plugged in, and just before I lost all my health on one character, I'd like press the fire button or just whichever the key was to conjure up the other character, and then you could continue indefinitely like that, I believe. Yeah, someone cracks up. Mummy, I made the illegal copy of the game. Yeah, good mum would slap you if you said that, mate. Right, Tifa trainers, go. This is Gauntlet 2. I prefer Gauntlet 1. This is a one disc hack, so some of the tune has been cut off. This is quite a long tune, that's why it comes on two discs. That was quite cool back then. I can't remember. I do remember these graphics and owning them. You know, but I can't remember if it was on the Amiga or the ST. I think it was the ST. I think my mate gave me a copy of the game. I never bought it for the Amiga because it was exactly the same game. Which means, yeah, when you're reviewing games on both systems, you'd have to mark the Amiga one down, really. Which didn't really happen. Alright, alternate. Is that going to work on this emulator? Wizard!
Welcome, Wizard.
So all the floor tiles now, they're like two colours, so black and brown, that sort of two colours. Not very good. And sprites have been shrunk. They look all right for their size, but it kind of makes it look more like a Sega Master System than what the ST is capable of. So basically, instead of finding some talented programmers, what they did is just they kept reducing the complexity and sophistication of the original Gauntlet game engine until it ran a bit better. So it's not silky smooth, but it's a lot better. I do admit that. Funnily enough, Gauntlet 2 on the C64, your main sprite increases in size over the previous version, although none of the other characters do change size. Actually, these guys might actually be the same size, but I should have picked the Barbarian Warrior guy actually. He may not be a barbarian, he may be a very nice warrior who happens to have a really naff hairstyle. Well, I missed all of them, unless there's a trainer for that. No, I did miss all of them. Have faith, Mr. Commodore. Mr. C, Mad C. Do I really want to watch Blackadder? I ain't seen it for ages actually. Blackadder goes fourth. That's the only one I would watch now. Even that is a very cheap show. It's all set-based bullshit. Ah, what bastard! Run to the hills. Ah, no, man. Anyway, you start off with a massive amount of health anyway. It's not unlimited though, I don't think. Shooting a potion has a lesser effect. Beep. Now I'm running it on a 1 megabyte setup, and I do believe you get more samples. You know, like sample speech playing if you do that. I do believe that was a thing. Should really test this for a 520 ST, just in case it, you know, affects the actual speed at which it scrolls horizontally. I don't think it would. I don't think the coding is that sophisticated. We've already discussed the coding cock, as I like to describe it as. You know, some hackers say, this is my kung fu and my kung fu is strong. Well, this is their coding cock, and they had to shrink everything. So, I suppose, if you're playing this on a 28-inch CRT back then, which was perfectly possible, you could get like a used one in the newspaper for like 50 quid. Let me out. I don't like that level. So yeah, it's really the floor tiles I'm not liking. Now on this level they look exactly like the ones I designed for the C64. Where I'm mixing multi-colour mode graphics, and there we go. You don't have to get your money's worth with that potion, boy. Potion! Must be like Paco Rabanne aftershave, which is what I used to wear. God, I'm always short on keys. It's a real arsehole, that is. Yeah, there's a bigger reliance on keys. Oh, you use a key to open a locked chest, of course. That explains why I'm one key down there, straight away. I have to settle for the economy treasure chest there, Madcommodore. Yeah, sadly, there are no fit women at all. There's hardly any women, full stop. No, I'm not opening that chest with the key. I'm just really exploring what the graphics look like. I think this is the one where the exit moves. So you have to wait, really. I think I may have got that thing that fucks me up a bit. No, it's just the coding. It's just rubbish coding.
Oh.
So, yeah, the exit will move. Always short one. Ah, there it is. Catch the exit. Woo! And we, oh, hang on. How comes I ain't got a key now? I have got a key. Now we're not doing the Madonna jokes again. Although I did listen to some Madonna today. Actually, it was only one track. While I was driving my car. It's a real shame about my car. It has so many stupid faults with it, but it's a great car. That's the sad thing. Yeah, what can you do, mate? What can you do? It's not like I design my own cars, isn't it? It's not like that's even possible. Oh, shit. Let me out in it. Thank you. You need to get down a level, so... Yeah, if you're just playing this on a 14-inch portable TV, the graphics are pretty tiny. But the beauty of the Atari ST is if you plug it into a nice Ferguson TX 28-inch CRT with fantastic speakers, it'd be brilliant. It wouldn't be that indistinguishable from the Amiga version, really, I suppose. You're still playing this shit? Yes. Leave me alone. I told you it's a selfish channel. Well, there's 3 keys up there. I can do the keys. There we go, I'll go with him. Some sort of trinket there of fashionable costume jewellery. So I'm still kind of playing it as if I haven't got... I think that amulet has fucked me up a bit because I'm not pointing the way that I'm pressing it. It's a bit weird. Right, we've got 2 potions that do. Nice roast dinners there, can't go wrong with a roast dinner. Seems very much a medieval sort of thing. You need a good hearty bit of food so you can have a plate of like roast meats, and I do believe this game is pro Atkins diet. I can't see any potatoes on that plate at all. Well, I'm it anyway because I'm the only person playing it. Because no one's allowed around my house, innit? Well, I've still got 2 potions. Shall I save them? Nah, look at my health is still massive. So I'll definitely write this back to a real disc to play it on a real ST with a zip stick. On the 24-inch Sony I've got. I'm very repulsive, yes sir. So where's the goddamn exit? It must be hidden in something. Right, well, I've got the old repulsiveness. Have we searched everywhere? The exits are still moving. There we go, that do. Oh look, the potion didn't get rid of them arseholes. There's the exit. It's disappearing. So yeah, I mean, it could have been a lot better. Mainly because of floor tiles of ZX Spectrum quality. If you can get past that, you'll enjoy it. But that probably means you never had the first one. Back then, when it mattered, when you could form a correct and informed chronologically relative period, yes sir, that's correct. That is correct. You are correct about that. But yeah, it's not a hateful game. It's not like some games that I could mention. And for the ST, this is good. You know, it could have been better, I reckon. I think a programmer with a bit of bigger cock, that would have helped. It's an insanely difficult game. But, hey, why are they disappearing? It's not particularly fast when there's loads on the screen, but it is much better than the old one. Probably about twice as fast. However, graphically, it is a little bit less impressive. So, I think we leave it there for Gauntlet 2. It's not Gauntlet Poo, don't be rude. So, Hustler, as you know, is a game I had on the C64, which is also by the same company, still around, dip their toe in the old ST market. I'm not really sure why they're changing that colour like that. Doesn't really make any sense, especially as it looks like someone spunked up over his head. You know it's me, of course. So, graphics have improved, obviously. Sound effects are fine. Music wasn't exactly Hubbard's first tune I ever heard sort of quality, which was Confusion by Incentive. But this was 20 quid, I would imagine. Everything was like 20 quid on the ST. Well, apart from stuff from Psygnosis, Deep Space was 35 quid and it was very shit. I know that because I believe that is the first game I ever bought for my ST. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, anyway, what they haven't done is sorted out the one problem that this game has, and that's, you know, the power meter in the bottom right hand corner there. It goes to the top and then it just goes straight back to zero pretty much. So yeah, trying to get maximum power out of the shot is a bit of a risk. And yet when you play pool for real, you know, which I did actually do, I think it was called Mr. B's on 4th Street in Edmonton, near Brentford Nylons, which had already closed down. And the famous, I believe it was a strip bar or a topless bar or something, that my mate famously went and had lunch there one day. It was like having a cheeseburger, I believe, or, you know. Anyway, the point is, it's very risky trying to get maximum power out of a shot, and yet you can decide that with no risk at all. I mean, you're not going to decide, oh, I'm going to like really whack this shot, and then all of a sudden you tap it like you're fucking, you know, trying to move a fucking ant 2 centimeters or something. It's basically, it don't happen in real life. But other than that, that is actually a fairly big problem. Other than that, did you really buy an ST to play games like this? See, I just done it there. It's a real pain in the arse. But if you did want a pool game, then it's alright actually. It's, would I buy this myself for the ST? Well, there's a question. Probably not. See, it's not really the sort of reason why I bought an ST. I didn't buy an ST to play games like that. Yeah, obviously I'm using an emulator. Yeah, so that's it really. So that's the worst thing about this International Karate on the ST, and that's the music. It's not even particularly good for the ST. Very run of the mill. Yeah, about this time you had 3D Galax from Gremlin, and Ben Dalglish's music to that was much better as an ST tune than this. But the graphics are really nice. There's a sort of purplishness to them. Turquoisey, purplish, cold sort of hue, kind of Pete Lyons. You know, the guy who did the graphics for Leatherneck. Now the actual guys that are doing the fighting, they remind me of the two werewolves in Carry On Screaming. They really do look like that to me. Although I do believe one is much taller than the other in the film. And I suppose that's Mr. Miyagi there. But really, Okay, IK Plus maybe like a smoother game engine, but the graphics are very similar to the C64 graphics on the ST and Amiga IK Plus. That's why I don't like it. And there's only one background. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't like it. So, but I did actually really like this. Now, true story, I bought this game from Lasky's on my way home from college. It was 20 quid. And I took it home and it didn't actually work. So I had to take it back the next day, either in my lunch hour or after school, and get it exchanged. Now what I do remember doing is having a program where I can't remember which two keys it is. There's a key combination you press on the Atari, and it'll send a screen dump to a printer. Obviously the printer has to be 100% ST compatible. But there was programs that would let you do that, and when you press that key, it would save the screen to disk. And I did it for like a couple of the backgrounds, and this was my favourite. This sort of Spanish, like, I don't know, town sort of cobblestone settings, was really nice. So I just like moved the players here and there, captured a few things. This one's alright as well, but I think the one before was just that much better. There's things animating in the background, but yeah, again, there's no scrolling or anything. Again, we've got sort of like beigey sort of shadows on the thing, so this kind of reminds me of one of the backgrounds on Street Fighter 2, but this came before Street Fighter 2. This is I believe 1986. Came in like a big clamshell box. I think it comes on 2 discs, although I'm not sure. But the graphics of the fighters are really nice. I really like them. It'd be nice if someone took these fighters and put them in, an updated game engine, so they would like play a bit faster. Although they're not bad. It's really a classic example of the original International Karate on the C64 is inferior in every aspect to this ST version, except the sound and the music. And that's really kind of how it would be as someone coming from the C64 to owning an ST. There was always that thing. The ST never really got rid of the stigma that, it was one of the worst sound chips. It was a sound chip that came on like the cheapest 8-bit computer of the time, the Spectrum. Spectrum 128 was the first one with that sound chip. And the MSX as well, although they weren't that cheap. And it's just like the graphics are nice. The guys with the camels in the background, the Sphinx there that blinks. I just like it. I think I had an original copy of Little Computer People for the ST as well, which I won't do because it's not really a game. One, you need the instructions, and I may have had that for the Amiga though, but it's exactly the same game. It's just the sound a bit different. But yeah, I do really like the background graphics on this, and the speed is fine, and I like the graphics. The fighters as the graphics are really good, especially the guy in white. The shading and the colours there work really well. Now I recorded this with scan lines on, and I can't get it to run now on the emulator because it's a protected image. I don't know if one of the automation discs have a thing. So you can have the music on or off, regardless of sound effect. There's a bit of comedy as well in the animations. It was just a nice game. I quite liked it. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, so this is what it's going to be like for these kind of games on the ST. 8 MHz, 68,000. It's more than powerful enough to move like nice, colourful, big graphics around a non-scrolling screen. I think before I got an ST, I knew the scrolling was an issue for it. I was quite a technical person by that time. When I got an ST, I'd already read an article in Byte magazine of the preview of the Amiga 1000, and I've read all the technical bits and everything that came with it. Actually, I used to have a lot of discussions with my university lecturer who used to work for IBM, and he knew about Motorola. Actually, he was involved in some aspect of IBM that did have dealings with Motorola. I don't know, but anyway, he was a fan of Motorola as it is, so they did have PowerPC servers. So this is another really good background. Maybe if the water could be made to do that wavy thing, but there's no simple way of doing that, I don't think. Unless you're a real demo coder, that's the kind of thing. For most games programmers, Andromeda software certainly, we're not demo coder type coders. I think did Andromeda do Scarabaeus? They have done something else that I like as well. So you get quite a few scenes, but this is definitely my favourite one. And I did mess about with the colours in Neochrome. Neochrome's a really good pixel art package that you got free with every ST in the early days. In fact, I had 2 versions of it. But yeah, I mean, I think the guy in purple, they could have gone with different colours for him. It done really well. But to be honest, these are the kind of games that they just look so much better on a real CRT. Even though I've tried to have the scan lines on there. Yeah, no, it's not really the same thing. It's not going to work. I think I used to mess about with the manually with the contrast range on some of the images, I think. But yeah, I saved like about 6 of the backgrounds onto a disc. God knows whatever happened to all that stuff. I've got no idea what happened to most of that stuff. I think he got lost in Move Abroad. I don't think I have those discs anymore. And there's a lot of Amiga discs that are like missing as well. I used to have a copy of Shockwave and I don't have that anymore. The umbrella's really nice as well. I mean, there are some aspects of the colour that are a bit weird. But I mean, for a 16 colour game, some of the backgrounds look really good with a fighter. See, on this particular screen, the purple guy looks a bit better. Although they've got like red and purple, a bit like how they do on the C64. They mix like purple in with like red and light red, they don't really go. But no, I think the graphics of the characters are really the highlight. They're really good. It's like the illegal love child of Charles Bronson and that one, not O'Hara, but the other big guy in the tournament, Into the Dragon. Bruce Lee has to fight early on before O'Hara. He doesn't kill him, but he does finish him off. Very colourful, this one, very garish. So very realistic. Moon Patrol. Very jolly music. So this is the monochrome mode. Okay, something weird going on with the graphics here. So the scrolling is pretty good. The reason I'm playing it on monochrome is because I was actually quite fascinated by the monochrome mode because it is the Jackintosh screen mode, as we used to call it back then. And yet there were, like, obviously some games that did support it. Now obviously on the Macintosh you've only got that option. So it's a bit like, you know, when they do Spectrum graphics on the C64 and people get upset. Well, it's a style thing, isn't it? And there is a colour version, obviously. I'll include some footage of that. Official conversion by Atari. Even though Atari Inc. and Atari, I don't know what the one who did the arcade machines was called, but it's completely separate companies split off. Jack Trammell didn't get both, he only got the shit part. But yeah, it's the Atari ST mono screen is actually one of the best ever. Better than even PC back then. And it's got nothing to do with the resolution or the number of grayscales. The Amiga does the same resolution in 16 colours as the ST mono mode. No, it was a 31-32 kilohertz non-interlaced display, and on top of that it was 70 frames per second screen update. Very easy on the eyes. Ooh! So yeah, it's always interesting to see when you know, monochrome games come out, or mono compatible games. I believe Starglider is another one as well. Music is absolutely fine. It's the same jolly tune as the arcade. Damn it. The buggy's nice as well, and they've done a good job of like doing various grayscales, even though you can only have black or white dots. It's basically the same as the Macintosh, the original Macintosh black and white screen. It's just a better screen and a higher resolution. Although I do believe the Apple Macintoshes came with a 9-inch Sony Trinity CRT tube inside the Vectrex rip-off case that Steve Jobs shamelessly used to design the original Mac. It was in the Macintosh, brilliant! It's just fucking he shoved a 68,000 base ZX81 inside the Vectrex and sprayed it with some white primer. I only put a little slot in there because his wife was ugly. I don't know. Don't ask me about Steve Jobs. I really don't care. I don't give a shit about Apple, anything they've ever done. From the Apple one all the way to the latest piece of shit iPhone or MacBook. I don't give a fuck about Apple. The only time I gave a shit about Apple was when they were selling the Macintosh LC475 for half the price of an Amiga 4000 with a 25 MHz 68040 in both cases, and 256 colours in both cases. So yeah, that's the only Apple machine that was of any note in history. I don't know what happened, why they started becoming expensive again. Apple were always expensive. That was a close call, that was. But yeah, I mean the game engine's fine actually. I do wonder if it's easier to do smooth scrolling games on the monochrome mode, because you don't have to mess about with 4 bits half byte chunks to do the 16 colours. Medium resolution is absolutely useless on the ST. Useless. It's exactly the same as the Amstrad CPC. The middle resolution only has 4 colours and is shit. The competition had more colours. And so you should either just do something in the highest resolution or the most colourful low resolution. There we go. But it does look, I bet it looked really nice on a real SM124. I don't know if it was like different versions with like different tubes. It's a very sort of, it's got no blue tint at all to the grayscales on the Atari monitor. I don't really like it. And the tube is a real goldfish bowl. It's nothing special at all. But it is very high resolution and it does run at 70 Hertz with no interlacing. So there you go. And there goes possibly my last life. Yes, there we go. Now we're going to be checking out Jetpack, which is also from Budgie Public Domain Library. So it's an update to the actual, the original Spectrum game, which I did play. I believe I played it in September 1983 on the rubber key Spectrum using the keyboard. It's quite a nice game actually. The controls are very good and the speed of the game. This game doesn't appear to be running as smoothly, and the graphics are just proof that although many more people could write games for the ST and Amiga, most of them shouldn't. They should have just not bothered, really. I know that's going to sound harsh, but I mean, look, what's going on with the background here? It's just confusing. It just gets in the way. All the graphics here are very amateur hour. They're just not, there's nothing there that makes me think, wow, that's good, that's nice. In fact, the best bit is the fuel, even though it looks like a big car battery. I don't know. Your rocket ship looks shit. I mean, you've got to think about the specs, even of a static screen on the ST. You've got you can pick any 16 colours out of the RGB 512 colour palette, same as a Mega Drive. and you can do some pretty nice things with 16 colours. As my Golden Axe update graphics in 16 colours prove, it's a lot closer to the arcade than well, just about anything that uses 16 colours. I was very impressed with it, and I got the sprites in there for like an entire level, so the whole thing was done. So all the sprites that appeared on that level were on like the entire map for the entire like screen, and we did them all in 16 colours. So you know, it's like there's no animation in the background, so why have this enormous moon? There's not even a stray comet or anything in the background, so it's really rubbish. I prefer the starkness of the original Spectrum, VIC-20 and BBC Micro games. I'm not sure if the BBC Micro version is better than the Spectrum version. So let's see what happens on level 2. That's a classic picture, that is. It's been reduced and it's totally ruined. It's just, the enemies moving around the screen there. I don't know, it's just rubbish. Video fits that a bit there, so that's not going to help. So you pick up this shield quite a lot actually, which pretty much makes you invulnerable. So it's exactly the same. I mean, on the Spectrum it's instantly visible how much more you got to do, but here there's like a little fuel thing on the bottom where the rocket is thing. That rocket is really terrible though. All the graphics are terrible. I've seen better graphics done in 4x8 pixels for tiny little men in things like Risk. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna get this with PD games. So I personally wouldn't have bothered, because by the time this came out, you could have gone down a car boot sale, picked up a Spectrum with loads of games for like probably 10 quid or something like that, 10-15 quid. So why would you play something like Jetpack on this, you know, ST? There might be other versions of Jetpack, this is the only one I found, but that version I did when I did all those homebrew games on the C64, there was a Jetpack clone in there. It's much better than this. So really all you're left with is the core gameplay. I mean, the controls are fine, I suppose. You don't have that kind of 50 frames per second fluidity that I would like, you know, because it's not really doing much if you think about it. And the title page is jarring, I must admit. It's not, there's no style going on. This probably is the best picture of the lot there, that rocket man, astronaut with a rocket on his back. Yeah, kind of like defeats the object really. Like I said, I'd rather go down a car boot sale in whenever this came out and you know, buy a Spectrum and a few games for like 10 quid, and one of them is bound to be Jetpack if you're buying a rubber key Spectrum, and the other one's probably Manic Miner, which, yeah, Manic Miner was a full price release on the ST and the Amiga, and they're both horrible. Absolutely horrible, really. So it's an official conversion of Joust now. Actually released by Atari. And there was a lot of this going on actually. Don't know if Pat Billy would ever watch this video. He might have no interest in the ST, but he does like Joust actually. So why am I not getting any of them yet? There we go, that's better. So again, you kind of got the problem that I don't know how much this was on sale for. Star Raiders was 20 quid. I did actually buy that for the ST. I actually like all versions of Star Raiders, even though they're all different. So this, even if it is a perfect copy of the arcade, well, minus the sound I would imagine, I don't think the arcade uses the YM2149. They should have got the YM2151, much better chip. Oh, that little pterodactyl type thing looks good. I don't know, is there like flames on later levels? I can't remember. So yeah, it's a very good copy of a very old arcade game that you might not think is worth 20 quid, even if it's a perfect copy. Well, it's a very good copy from what I can see. I'm no expert on Joust. Ooh, yeah, that's, so yeah, honestly, but Atari was doing this. They had all sorts of like old arcade games converted officially to the ST. And Star Raiders is probably the pick of the bunch, because Star Raiders is a great game. It might be an early game, but it's a great game, and they have actually updated the visuals somewhat. You might not like the updates, but it has been done. Ah, that music reminds me of that film, Forbidden Planet, that's the one. Okay, it's not really music. Well, Atari ST Review exclusively presents Kid Kong. This is the one I was thinking of. Is that Rainbow Kid? Because it looks like Rainbow Island's main sprite sort of thing. It looks familiar, but not from a Nintendo game. The rest of it is the same. They've just changed Mario, really. There you go. Software sample playback, sir. More software for you. ColecoVision sounds. Well, the running is 100% Coleco. What's with the barrels flying all over the shop? What are they? They're like the monkeys in Wizard of Oz. They're flying. I don't think so. That's just rude. It's also extremely hard compared to monkey business. Oh man! Yeah, that's the game's fault. You saw me get stuck on the ladder at least once. I lost 2 seconds there. That was my fault. Iffy that one. Ah, come on! What is this? I'm doing a long jump on Daley Thompson's decathlon. Just get up there, innit, you little shit. Just let me start the game. God damn it. Yeah, again we're cursed by the shitty PC keyboard quality. And they're all like that now. It's a Microsoft one, mate. Well, it's only 40 quid. 40 quid inks. Oh, crap. Oh, that was a bit risky, that one. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ah, no, I thought he was going to go the other way. I panicked, sir. Captain Mannering, I panicked. I hated that show. There was one rubbish com knockoff on the C64 where you had to like use the jump. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ooh. Ooh! We done a level! Right, that's it. End of review, mate. No Pie Factory for you, madam? Ooh. This is actually really nice. It's better than the Big Nonia Boys rubbish Donkey Kong, which I think is the only one on. Oh, there was a game from 1986 which was a lot like Donkey Kong. So on the Amiga 1000, obviously the Amiga 500 didn't exist in 1986. I think that was actually a commercial game as well. God knows what documentation and that. Hey! Who told you how to write Donkey Kong? Asshole! What a bastard. The fucking... So, right, I'm marking it down 1 billion points for that. That's a universal thing, that is. You can't do a Donkey Kong knockoff if you don't know where the bloody spring stops and starts. That fucks you up completely then, you see. Ah, I don't like you anymore, innit? It's like if a girl won't let you fuck her, it's like, nah, I don't like you anymore, innit? Yeah, I don't know if that works in reverse for the old women. Oh look, sometimes it does jump over there. How am I supposed to know which time it's going to fuck it? See, look, now it's doing it that way. You just won't make it, see? There's no way of knowing. Right, so if it jumps there. Now it's done a small one. Done a small one in it, bastard. And you run out of bonus trying to work. Make your fucking mind up, innit? That goddamn YM2149 piece of shit sound chip again. Although with Lotus, you don't really care about the music. Well, the first Lotus game. The second game didn't have any. But this is Lotus 3. Because the great thing about Lotus 3 is you don't actually have to win all the races to try all the tracks. The Rex thing was really good. Now for some idiotic reason I was playing this with the scenery set to 100%, which does actually affect the frame rate. You really want to set that to 0%, and that doesn't mean there's like no trees or anything at all. There still are some trees and stuff, but you know, just not Lotus 2 levels. Now on the Amiga, the brand of the road on Lotus 3 is actually a whole load of like curvy lines. They're not just like straight rasters. Yeah, don't ask me what kind of bloody bit rate is going on with this recording. But like I said, dust off your old £284 Atari 520 ST-FM that's now half a decade old. You're bored, or you're poor and you still got the same computer and no other option. Lotus 2 is really what you want. But Lotus 3, like I say, it's got like a couple of, I think it's got 4 extra tracks. But well, one of them I don't like at all. But it's good to be able to sort of like, you know, change stuff, because you can change the length of the track that you race on, and you know, how many hills there are and how steep they are and how much scenery you want, so you can set that down to like a minimum to keep the speed up. Even on the Amiga 500, Lotus 3 is not, you know, 0 frame drops. It really isn't. I don't know if you set it to like 0% scenery. I can't remember. I did do that about 3 months ago on my Amiga 1000. But really you need an Amiga 1200 to play Lotus 3 at like the same speed that you're playing Lotus 2 on the Amiga 1000 or 500 if you're poor. So doing the night race now. Which was the second track on Lotus 2. They don't actually change the colours of any of the cars. They don't do it on the Amiga either. It's just like grey bits didded on there by Andrew Morrison. There's probably a technical reason why that is the way it is. But yeah, again, absolutely fine. I mean, you're not going to be playing games like this on the C64. So, you know, this is an example where it's like, okay, maybe I did get an ST and, you know, maybe the sound chip is as rubbish as it is on the Amstrad and the Spectrum, and it is a rubbish sound chip, and MSX and ColecoVision, those kind of sound chips, they're like, they should have been left back in 1982. They had no business in a 1984 Amstrad. That just smacks of cheapness. But the Amstrad was actually cheaper than the C64. It was about 50 quid cheaper than the C64. If you bought one for £199.99 on its own, and I believe it was $19.99 or $24.99 for the TV modulator, which makes sense if you're on a budget. Because if you buy the monochrome version of the Amstrad CPC monitor bundle, then you can't plug it into your TV. You still have to buy the TV modulator later, or a colour monitor obviously. So that was a real waste of money. But yeah, little short run of that, and you get an idea of, like, you know, the thing. But I think we'll do the fog level next. So a bit of a skippity skip through the video. So we're going to have some music this time, and we're doing the Marshland course, which is, like, graphically my favourite on the Amiga as well. And we've got some music going on here, let's have a little listen. Yeah, it's better than what that prick Jonathan Dunn managed. You prick! Dun Beetle, as I like to call him, because he's shit. He rolls around in shit as far as the YM2149 goes. Anyway, this is graphically my favourite track, like I said, and it looks really nice on the ST. And like an idiot, I've still got the scenery at 100%. Don't ask me why. Just recorded it like that. But it's absolutely fine and playable, even with 100. So personally, I would set it down to 0 myself if I'm just playing a racing game. I abhor frame drops, which is why I will never buy a PS5, the latest Xbox, or play games on Windows. They're all, or even the Nintendo, whatever it's called, the next one. Because they're all just compiled programs that are just compiled for different systems, and it's like loads of bloatware and off you go. There's no machine code in it. There's no directly written to the hardware for the specific console. But yeah, the music's not bad, I suppose. And it does look nice. So we will be doing the fog level now. Right, so we're doing the fog level, and obviously you want the Lotus Esprit because it's the fastest. And which music have we chosen this time? Yeah, that's quite atmospheric on the Amiga, that bit. So yeah, this true story. For about a decade, I used to play this every winter. Not always on my Amiga 1000, because I sold that in, I believe it was 1995. Because I didn't want to be working and studying for my degree, whatever it was, at university. It's enough of a problem. So yeah, I just sold that with loads of it. Big mistake, but anyway, we're on the ST. But I used to play it every year in the winter when it was foggy outside. And my computer was always on a desk, in front of a window. So foggy weather is probably my favourite weather, actually. Come to think about aesthetically, obviously. I just like it. It's just it makes everything look like Silent Hill. Even though it's even worse than that. Let's not get on with that. Well, anyway. So yeah, I mean, I never had the Enduro, but I love the fog level on the Enduro as well on the VCS. Obviously not on the Spectrum. Don't be stupid. Yeah, this is really nice. I really like it. It's a fiendish level to do on Lotus 2. So I do like Rex because you can actually pick your tracks, and you can even choose whether you're just doing a track that doesn't have to meet round itself, so it's just one very long track, which is quite long if you set everything to 100%, or you can have it so that they all have to loop round, so you end up with the whole thing matching up, I suppose, and you don't get a million hills. So yeah, that was Lotus 3. And I'd say that's a win. So you're going to be checking out Monkey Business on the Atari ST now. It's Donkey Kong rip-off. Don't give a date here. This I'm pretty sure this wasn't sort of a £20 commercial game. I don't know if it was completely free, or you had to pay some sort of minimal cost. I didn't say it was the best one. Alright, let's go. There is another one for the ST, but I can't remember what that one's called, actually. Maybe I've already got a video of it on my channel. Seems quite easy because there's only 2 barrels on the entire screen. Well, it's doing the Japanese, or is it the American way of doing it? Anyway, should stop messing about, really. Stop messing about, Madcommodore. Oh crap. Kind of left it a bit too late now. Oh, actually we're a bit stuffed here, aren't we? They kind of just follow what kind of like level you go on. So I have to do the whole thing again, and then I can't remember if it's the elevator section or the pie factory section that you'll see next. Actually, plays fine, to be honest. You don't get stuck trying to get on the ladders. Oh, and the jumps are fine. Yeah, what was the other one called then? I could have sworn it was Monkey Business, but obviously not. Ah! A silly mistake, as Fred Harris would probably say if he was watching me play this. Okay. Oh, that's quite a drop. Look how far out the bloody little shit comes there. That's bullshit, that is. Okay, now he's there. You get the way in it. Oh man, I didn't want to fall off the edge again. PPNV. Power Packet NV, isn't it? Yeah, I watched High Anxiety with Mel Brooks the other day. What a great film that is. Ooh, you don't actually lose a life doing that. That was a bit iffy. I've done it again! Jesus Christ. Ah no! It's no good for me, innit? Down you get your little shit. You little shit! I've used up quite a lot of lives, I think. Oh no, you could go off this. Ah, Jesus Christ. I've made every mistake possible, even though I know exactly how to do it. And I've done just as complex jumps and timing sequences already. Very weird. On the arcade you can go up just a little bit. Whee! See, I knew how to do it. Ah, come on, man. Well, I don't like the Pie Factory anyway. Piss off. Piss off, innit? Whee! There we go. Hey! I jumped over it. Why didn't it register? We have to find the other one now. This can't be the one I'm thinking. There was one. Ah, come on, man. I'm falling through the platforms now. Bullshit. Oh well, I guess Mainmeister's unsubscribing again. New Zealand story. Now whether you like these cutesy games or not, don't really matter. It's really down to the fact that the ST does get a good version. Helps the reputation. And therefore the sales of the machine in general. So yeah, first thing, graphics are pretty much identical to the Amiga version. The scrolling is not the same, but it's not bad. There is some slowdown, but it's perfectly playable. The music does slow down a bit sometimes too, but there are much worse scrolling, 8-way scrolling games on the ST, much worse than this. So, and it is quite a large screen. Yeah, I'm trying to hurry up, mate. I reckon even though the graphics are limited to 16 colours, they could have been better. I've picked up this stupid weapon. You know, I hate it when you have a crap weapon as a so-called upgrade, but anyway. So the music has translated okay to the YM2149 business. Would you rather have this or the Amiga version? Does it really matter? If you really like the arcade game and you'd already bought an ST for £284 in Silica Shop, as we've discussed a few times now, would you then go out and buy like an Amiga 500 for $399.99 a year later? Nah, you wouldn't, would you? That's really the point. Oh, no, we lost the old ding dong there. That's no good, sir. Now, the advantage of doing these type of reviews, where I've literally recorded myself playing them already on the emulator, we've discussed that too. I don't know if it would really matter if you use this game on real hardware. That's the interesting thing. Because it's not 50 frames per second input or scrolling or anything like that. You're not going to get any screen tearing by emulating this on a PC and outputting it to a CRT. And well, to be honest, you'd be crazy not to use a SCART RGB cable for the ST. It's there, so why not use it? So it probably wouldn't look that different to a decent plasma. LCD colours are a bit flat. Maybe you've got really expensive LCD. I don't know your financial situation, sir. But no, the important thing is this game is perfectly playable. You know, it's not a miracle conversion, but it's not bad, and that's the important thing. Like I said, I wouldn't play games like this in the arcade myself. Really my cup of tea, but that doesn't mean I can't review them, because at the end of the day I can see why, you know, on import on the PC Engine this would cost you about 40 quid back then, certainly 35 to 40 quid. So for 20 quid I think it's fine if you had to make a choice, and then you could spend the extra money. Like I said, it really depends how much you like the original arcade game. But well, that's Last Life then. Operation Wolf. I ain't played this on the Amiga for a long time. Long time. 1988, eh? Alright, it's not the Dun Beetle. I'm done with the Dun Beetle. The version was meant to be better. Can't see how, because it didn't come with some metal Uzi light gun thingies, did it? Right, we just have to swap the old discs around here. So, from the clickety click things. Gonna have to, I'm sure it's a mouse-based game, so why isn't the mouse working? Okay, graphics look very shit already. And the mouse is working, actually. How do you reload again? What does it say? I'll just use this button on this side of the keyboard, it's a bit better for me. I like to hit the hostages. YMMV, but I like to hit the hostages. It's very slow as well. Nah, this is shit. Look how slow it's scrolling. And it's not like, it's because the character's moving on the screen unbelievably fast. This is it's a terrible problem. Terrible. And it wouldn't really matter if I was playing this on a real Atari ST with a low DPI mouse or on the emulator like I'm doing in this case. So phew, that's justified. Yeah, these videos are not real hardware. Oh, I don't remember the buzzard. Why can't I shoot the buzzard, goddammit? I can't remember how you fired a grenade. Is it space? Oh, that's it, yeah. Pew. Pew. Why ain't got unlimited rockets? What a shit fucking crap this turned out to be. Missile in your bumhole, missile for the vulture, sir. So yeah, these videos are not going to be, real hardware. Yeah, I've got real hardware. No, I'm doing these on emulator. What kind of shit trainer is this then? What exactly have they trained? They fucking train their arseholes to take their daddy's cock. P47. Quite a nice picture that. I quite like that. It's not the one that come with the game. Can't remember what it was like. So, P47 was a bit of a miracle on the Amstrad CPC, a piece of shit on the C64. Yeah, well, even on the SID chip, you're not going to do anything great with such rubbish arcade music. Let me have a bit of my tea cake. graphics are quite nice already. Don't really give you a chance before going into the demo mode. Pretty good copy of the arcade. The cutscene pictures. They've gone with parallax scrolling, which seems like a strange thing to do on a machine that's already a bit stretched as far as scrolling the screen horizontally. For technical reasons I won't go in. It's got nothing to do with the CPU speed below. Our graphics are quite nice. Some sort of raster effect on the sky would be nice, I guess. Well, they obviously had time to do parallax scrolling. I've never played this on the Amiga, so I can't really comment from that point of view. There is some slowdown as far as the scrolling goes. It's not completely smooth or anything like that. But you won't really notice it if you're playing the game. I don't know if this is a two-player co-op game. I'm just trying to think of a joke about co-op there, but anyway. The graphics for the planes are actually quite nice. There's a bit too much different going on in the green in the background, but this is the kind of game where they could easily have done raster splits and improved the colours. I bet they didn't bother to do a copy of this either. Lazy goddamn assholes, isn't it? Now the thing is, I couldn't remember what the key was to fire the bombs. Because obviously I'm not firing any kind of bombs or anything, and you do need to do that to get past this level. So sadly I haven't found a version yet that's got like a cheat that lets you skip levels. Yeah, like I said before and I'll say it again, the cracks on other systems are inferior to you know, the quality of the trainer options you get with the cracks on the C64. Obviously I wouldn't know that back then, because I wasn't a filthy pirate. Until US Gold and Signosis ripped me off, and I was like, right, that's it mate, try it before you buy it with the old pirate discs. Didn't buy any less games than I would have bought due to piracy. But from what I've seen so far of level 1, I've not checked out a video for level 2 yet. It seems quite nice for the ST. I don't think any version of P47 has got nice music, so getting Rampage now, which for some reason David Whittaker has cheekily installed 2 bits of music from Into Oblivion, aka I.O. from the C64. Actually not that bad. Not as bad as that prick Jonathan Dunn seems to only be able to manage with the YM chip. Fucking loser. Anyway, I actually like playing the Wolf. For some reason I didn't press the function key, so I think I'm the Godzilla monster. Now this music don't really go with this arcade game. If you've had a C64, that's a weird thing, because it's like, it's not even a shoot 'em up. But it's nice music. Nice music to listen to while you're, well actually I don't appear to be doing nothing, do I? No, I think I'm the Kong. I'm Kong Daddy to you, sir. Yeah, we all know who I am, mate. And I did actually have this on my ST, and I didn't feel ripped off for 20 quid. I thought it was alright actually. I knew what to expect. I had Rampage on the C64 as well. But obviously this is a non-scrolling game on a computer that can do 16 out of 512 colours with no restrictions in 320 by 200. The helicopters look a bit naff, but the rest of it is quite nice actually. So it was worth the extra 10 quid then, Madcommodore, you cheap bastard. Well, 15 was the price of the C64 disc version, so like for like. Yeah, my favourite graphics are the characters. Although they're all good, all three of them are good. I think my favourite one is the Wolf, and then Godzilla. Yeah, I mean, it is an early sort of game as well. Well, when did this come out? 1988, 87? Can't remember. Can't be that late because I bought it for the C64 and then the ST. So, would help if I could remember exactly when I got the Amiga 1000. Yeah, those memories are sealed now, mate. But yeah, obviously, you know, with a friend, yeah, it'd be pretty good actually. It's one of those games where, as a one-player game, it is what it is, and but the fun really comes in when there's like more than one person playing the game, because you can punch each other if you want. They did actually make a film, Rampage, and it does seem to be based on the characters actually. Got Dwayne Johnson in it. So I think it was after Jumanji actually. So the music is as good as you're going to get as a rendition of those Sid tunes. They've been done by David Whittaker in both cases. Sound effects are fine. The graphics are actually nice for what they're supposed to be, you know, representing, which is Rampage, the arcade game. And well, there's no scrolling, so you know, you're not really going to have any issues there. Unless some real idiots program it. So the thing is, the C64 version has completely different music, so you can't really say, oh, I prefer the music on the C64, because it's not the same tune really. Yeah, it's just, it's one of those games which back then was just something different really. And I think, you know, the ST version is fine. I think it came out on the Amiga. I'm not actually sure, I think it did though. Because I think this came out after some of those games that were not converted to the Amiga. I'm trying to think of an Activision one now. Was Enduro Racer done? But yeah, there's not much I can really say about this game. Much else. I mean, this is pretty much it, and these are the graphics, and that's what it is, and you either like it or you don't. Like I said, if you didn't have Rampage back then, you won't really get it now. You'd be like, well, you know, you'd be like a novelty, but yeah, there's a bit more than just a novelty. As a two-player game, it was a lot of fun in the arcade, and that does translate to the ST quite well, I think. So yeah, I'd say it's a win for the ST at the end of the day. Well, to something else again. Roadrunner. I actually had this game on my ST. I don't believe I had an Amiga when this came out. It's a ST exclusive. Now I did have a quick go at this. Quick go, you know what I'm saying? Quick go. So that's what the shortcut is there for. It's a continue option really, and you get an extra life, which is interesting. Now, the first thing I noticed, but not what you'll notice, is A, there's a weird speed up that happened. And B, it's very tricky picking up the birdseed. Now sometimes I clearly miss it, but sometimes it's just being really fussy. Now I had this problem with a C64 version. See, there's a weird speed up business supposedly. Now that could be because I'm using a hard disk version. Someone transferred these to like hard disk images, and they changed a few things. The code has obviously been changed because it now supports a glitter. But this is running on a standard 520 ST spec, so yeah, like I was saying, that was a thing with the C64 version, playing it on the the PC keyboard. Right, so now neither of these things may be a problem if I dug out like the real discs and played it on a real system with a zip stick. They may not be as bad. Okay, that's the bad points aside, which may not actually exist. So unfortunately, enough of the house is not done for me to have an ST set up. I'm still working in the kitchen. So let's move on with the positives. Sound effects are a bit okay, but no, they're not bad. And the music is very twee and jolly. The graphics are nice. More importantly, they're doing software parallax scrolling, which you can't really tell on this level. You'll see later on. Which I kind of forgot about, if I'm honest. It's been a long time since I played this game. Get a different tune on every level. It's kind of a memory game. And you know me, I don't really have like hours and hours to spend on one game. But I would have had that back then. Well, maybe. But the point is, back then, you know, didn't have like 10,000 Atari ST games. You could just pick and choose what to play, and when you got bored, play something else. Even if you're getting cracked discs off your dodgy mate Peter, who is constantly annoyed that you still played games on your C64. Now this is a multi-load game, so unlike Bubble Bobble, I did get this on the ST and not my C64, which was still working at the time. So there is that. Because obviously the ST only comes with a disc drive. Although people were asking if the 130 ST would have a tape deck. And the response was no, you'd be playing games on cartridge. But anyway, that's another discussion to be tabled for much later. I hope you can hear my bloody voice. So yeah, the graphics are nice. They're close enough to the arcade, considering, you know, the 16 colour limit of the ST. So I quite like this game because it's quite an original game, something different. I honestly can't remember anymore if I did or I didn't like, you know, Wile E. Coyote. I mean, obviously when you're playing this game you don't like him because because, you know, basically he's trying to get you. I think I went to the effort of putting in my actual initials. Again, I've got a keyboard right in front of me. Why are you making me use the virtual joystick to put my initials in? Luckily, once you get the first letter out of the way, the others are quite quick. So yeah, so for US Gold and an early ST game, so early that there was no Amiga version, it is pretty good actually. So let's see if I've got used to the controls here. This is my second go on this level. No, it doesn't look like it, does it? Like I said, it's a tricky game to play on cursor keys on the, you know, the PC keyboard. But yeah, I do like the parallax scrolling. Yeah, sure, it isn't pixel smooth like the C64, but it is parallax. It's kind of a weird time, because I always used to say the earlier ST games were more ambitious than, you know, later on when they were just like, oh, ST can't do parallax scrolling, yeah, we've got to write the same thing for the Amiga as well. So there was like an era of yeah, horizontally parallax scrolling games that are not bad. And you know, there was games that used sampled sound. This one doesn't, obviously. You know, and later on, games seemed to get worse on the ST when they started doing like ST stroke Amiga dual developments, as they were called, which was the biggest cock up for both systems, to be quite honest, because the games were shit on both around that time. I never actually managed to destroy Wile E. Coyote. I'm sorry! I do like this method of reviewing games, where I'm just sitting there having a smoke, drinking some of my coffee, watching back my fruitless efforts, as I like to call them. But no, I mean, I was actually quite happy. Quite happy with this version of the game, I must admit. It was 20 quid for the ST at the time. I'm going to have to go back and try an actual disc image. Now there's a slight problem there, because some games, they're in a different format and I can't get Steam to run them, I don't even recognise them. There's two types of disc image formats. One is like the equivalent of D64 images, and the other one is the equivalent of G64 images for the Vice emulator. But yeah, there's loads of nice little animations. You know, the music is what it is. It's quite jolly. It's actually quite a difficult game. Moving around the track is not too bad. Like I say, it's actually picking up the seed. That's the problem. I think you can only miss so many before you actually lose a life or something. Yeah, look, the speed up like that really fucked me up. Oh, it's not exactly a 256 colour arcade game. I believe it's a Sega game, actually. I can't remember though. See, I've missed that bit there, I've missed that bit there. I just decided, fuck it. Should have programmed the controls a bit better, innit? So we're back here again already. So yeah, like I was saying, it's not actually that hard to get like to level 3 or 4. Yeah, I only had like 2 goes and I got quite far on it considering. So it's not difficult or anything. Even on the disc version, like the load times are actually okay. The ST disc drive is actually quite fast. No problem there. Come on. Yeah, look, I missed 7 bird seeds. I'm not hungry, as Robocop famously said when he was offered baby food. No, thank you. I'm not hungry. Yeah, I don't like this level because it's a memory sort of thing. There's too many dead ends. It's the same reason why I don't like turbocharge on the C64. Although it is possible to avoid him, as you can clearly see. Yeah, at this point I was just like, I don't want to be in this maze section anymore. Just really want to outrun Wile E. Coyote, which I didn't do obviously there. But yeah, like I said, all things considered, for an early ST game, this is bloody brilliant. It doesn't really matter that the tunes are not on the seat because they're, you know, they're like cartoon kind of tunes, so I guess you could say. And that's it really. Wouldn't mind playing it on real hardware again. Right, I should point out that I had a lot of problems getting the trainer options on this thing to work because it uses the function keys and the screen capture program. It just interferes, so I had to run the program, set all the trainer options, and then run the screen capture thing, and then, you know, start recording, and that takes time. So the bit at the beginning is missing. So I should also point out that for screen capture purposes, I ran this on an American Atari ST, so it is running a bit faster. But yeah, anyway, if you notice the grey tiles that fade in the background, on the 8-bit PC Engine version, they don't seem to be apparent here, so like I said, I always said it, you know, the British software companies don't really give a fuck about you. For some reason you can still see the starfield even though you're inside the complex that you're blowing up. But it's not a bad version. I actually had R-Type on the Atari ST. Again, I'm not sure why. Probably it was just before I got an Amiga. I was literally buying Micromart every week and looking for an Amiga 1000. I decided I didn't want the disgusting looking Amiga 500. It's really horrible looking machine. Typical Irving Gould, Dave Haney era Commodore shit. Anyway, but Madcommodore, they made the Amiga 3000 and that's brilliant. Well, apart from the keyboard, which is a bit big and ungainly, the case is nice. And the motherboard is absolute useless wank. Fucking anyway. This is my favourite level. Even on the arcade, those little like red intestines in the glass tubes, they don't do nothing, they are static. Really, that's... Well, IREM, they're not exactly Konami, are they? So there's that. The king of shoot 'em ups is Konami. Radius Nemesis, stroke, whichever you want to call it, Salamander and Vulcan Venture. They are the greatest shoot 'em ups of the 80s. And if you don't agree, it's not my fault you've got shit taste in shoot 'em ups, is it really? But yeah, no, I did have this. And certainly I didn't have a cheap version because I bought the original, 20 quid. Oh, actually I just remembered 2 other Activision games I had. It's actually not bad. If anything, it just highlights what a piss poor job people were doing making use of the Amiga custom graphics chips back then. Dual development. Yeah, what can you say, mate? Yeah, obviously the screen goes red because of the trainer. Not really sure why it has to do that. Yeah, there is a bit of slowdown, but I mean for a machine that's just like pushing everything along with just a CPU, it's pretty good. I mean, they don't do the old Amstrad trick of shrinking the screen because their coding cock is too small. You could easily like draw things on a smaller screen on the ST, whether you got a border or not. It's just the way it works because it's all software scrolling anyway. Well, Roadrunner does it for a start, so there's that. It's only like maybe about 5, maximum 10% of the screen missing. But I'm only going to show you the first 2 levels, although I did probably get to level 3 on the ST version. But level 2 is my favourite, and you've got to have level 1 because it's iconic. But there you go. R-Type on the ST is nowhere near as bad as you would expect it to be. The sound is alright, the title screen music is shit, but the in-game music is fine, sound effects are fine. Slap Fight! Me and Jim Beam are going to be reviewing this game. Yes, Jim Beam, sir. Now the graphics are actually quite nice on this game. As I believe it's a late 80s game. So again, if you just bought your £284 520 STFM from Silica Shop and other places, there are alternatives, as Ben Kenobi said. This is what you probably would have bought if you like, arcade shoot 'em ups with a bit of pedigree from the arcade. Problem is, it's quite a frustrating game as a home game. The problems this game has is the same problems that the C64 version has. And amazingly, the problems that you think it's going to have, like dodgy scrolling, don't really materialise. So there's no real problem with the scrolling. And the graphics have been done quite nice. And let's face it, the music from the arcade game, unless you had like a shit hot Hubbard remix, like was the case with Commando, well, they're pretty shit anyway. So the YM2149 is perfectly adequate for replicating those rubbish arcade tunes, but the difficulty is that your shots don't go all the way to the top of the screen. You have to be nearly halfway out the screen to actually hit the stuff as soon as it appears at the top of the screen. And you do have to sit near the keyboard to press the space bar. And to be honest, the only upgrade you really want is speed up or laser, so you can have a longer range for your shots. For some reason I feel like Frank Costanza, while I'm talking, this could be the Jim Beam. Look, Jim Beam. Oh, you never see that because I only use the audio from these recordings. Already recorded the gameplay. So yeah, I mean, there is a slight issue here with, you know, the original arcade game is not brilliant. However, it's a good conversion of a rubbish arcade game. That's really the most accurate way that I could describe it. Especially with this much Jim Beam inside me, and it is Jim Beam. Fuck Jack Daniels, mate. Jack Daniels is for the millennials. People who actually have taste buds at work will always choose Jim Beam. Possibly Southern Comfort, but it's been quite a long time since I've had a bit of Southern Comfort. I don't mean the American bitches massaging my ear anyway. So yeah, this review is obviously going to be a bit tinted by the fact that I've had a bit too much Jim Beam. Can you have too much Jim Beam? Well, I don't know if I'd make it to the fish and chip shop to get some fish and chips, so that could be a problem. But no, I mean, this was always a problem on every home computer. People lined up to convert arcade games, and then they did convert them as they were, with no modifications, unlike Nintendo, who did do modifications. Not always successful, but bless them, they did try. And the thing is, this game doesn't really work as a home computer game. At the very least, for the home computer port, your shots should go all the way to the top of the screen. Or you have unlimited continues and you continue from where you died. Don't know what it's like in the arcade. I've never played the arcade game and I never would. By the time this arcade game was out, I was saving my 50 pence pieces for Outrun. Thank you! I must be really drunk because I can barely hear what I'm even saying. But bless Madcommodore, he did drop his keyboard and he did have a fair go. I probably should have had a coffee instead of like 20% of a bottle of Jim Beam, but funny thing is, I feel like playing Blue Max on the C64 with cheats, obviously, right now, invincibility cheat. That's really another thing I've noticed. On the 16-bit computers, possibly other 8-bit computers, the quality of the cracks are a bit shit. You know, on the C64 you can pretty much find invulnerability for any shoot 'em up you can imagine. if you go on CSTV. That's not quite the case on the ST Amiga and probably the Amstrad and the Spectrum, although with the Amstrad I am limited to tape images. Well, it's been a while since I've done any Amstrad games, but things are going very badly at the moment. Relations with the rest of my family, apart from my dad, are in the fucking toilet right now because they're fucking obtuse and fucking idiotic motherfuckers, basically. And my dad's in hospital, so yeah, I'm a bit distracted at the moment. And of course, my fucking landline stopped working yesterday, which is really when all these problems started. And my fucking family didn't bother to ring me on my mobile, which I can't top up because the only card I can use to top up my fucking mobile phone has got fucking £40,000 in the account. Would you use that card? No, I don't think you would. And because I didn't know what the hell was going on, after a cryptic fucking phone call at 7 o'clock last night by my dad to say, you can't drive at night, can you? No, I can't fucking drive at night, because fucking doctors 20 fucking years ago were thick as shit as far as diabetes go. So yeah, I can't drive at night now. And my car is a bit iffy anyway. Been working on my house, mate. So yeah, it's a bit of a fucked up situation, if I'm honest. Welcome to the most shit review I've ever done. Now, do I bother to have another go? I couldn't tell you, sir. I couldn't tell you. I can't remember when I recorded these things, and they're all done with emulators, but as far as things like the Amstrad and the Atari go, you're absolutely fine using emulators because, well, I can't think of a single game on either system that runs at 50 frames per second anyway. And the thing is, I used to use my Atari ST with a SCART RGB cable, which means that's what I would use on an LCD anyway. So there's no real difference there. Apart from the fact that the keyboards for PCs these days are fucking designed for spastics, stroke millennials who haven't got a fucking pot to piss in because they keep wasting all their money on useless horseshit on Amazon. Yeah, I know this has got fuck all to do with Slapfight, but you know what? This Jim Beam is damn good, and this game doesn't really work as a home computer game. Same problem as Green Beret. So I'm going to be playing, even though it says controlled by mouse, it's if you press C. So basically, you want to press S when you see the option you want, never mind what it says now. Right, now I could be completely wrong now. So, I actually had this on my ST back in the day. This is 1986 game, so I'm trying to think which one had the best graphics. Let's go to Europe. I'm not going to do all of them. All the music is horrible, even on the Amiga. I don't think the graphics actually go any faster if you press the turbo button. ZZKJ said that famously. Now I've got unlimited time, so no need to rush. The pixel art for the bikers is actually not bad, especially yours. Roadside objects are a bit. Anko, or Tyne soft, let's put it that way. And I don't mean Summer Olympiad, I mean, you know, Grid Start, that kind of rubbish. So the tracks are actually quite long. Oh, there's quite a bit of turning. I suppose for 1986, it's alright. I mean, I did actually get Enduro Racer as well, which is another Activision Sega conversion in the early days. Luckily I don't have to hear the horrendous music, I've got the sound down. Yeah, I don't know if I've got it right with the sensitivity there. So yeah, graphics are quite nice on this bit there, although it seems a bit of a change from you know, mountains instantly disappearing or whatever, but anyway. So yeah, like I was saying, for 1986, it's not bad. It's certainly better than Porsche Turbo Challenge or whatever it's called. No, Porsche Turbo Cup, that's what it's called. Now obviously I don't like the Amiga version because it is just an ST port job. But I don't like the Mega Drive version either. The Mega Drive is not particularly special bit of coding. The Mega Drive could have done a much better version. If you look at, you know, what Outrun and the Lotus games on the Mega Drive are doing, certainly could have been better. That was a bit risky, and I do have biscuits. Thank you for asking. But I think the coffee went cold about an hour ago. Yeah, I've been delaying the old shift changing. But yeah, I do remember having this game as an original on my ST, and it came on 2 discs. And then my mate brought round a pirate copy of the game, which didn't have any trainer options on it, but it did mean I could, you know, load up the pirate copy and keep the original discs, you know, make sure nothing happened to them, just keep them in the box, so there was that. So I don't think the frame rate actually goes any faster, so yeah, I mean, the graphics of Your Rider are probably the highlight of the pixel art on this game, but there's a bit of a jelly wobble going on with the other riders, but it could have been a lot worse for 1986. I mean, it's better than Super Cycle on the ST, obviously. That's a C64 port job, that is. And it's not the only one that the ST got, I must admit. The Iridium looks pretty much the same as the C64 version as well. Don't move as fast, but yeah, it's not getting to that right now. They are annoying the way they just kind of like hit you. But at least they do kind of move around on the track, unlike bloody Chase HQ wank. So I've only got 2 more stages to do, so yeah, I think for the ST this is actually not a bad game, all things considered. I think the Amiga version is absolutely shit because it's more or less identical. But that's because the same person who wrote this wrote the Amiga version. Yeah, it's literally just an ST port job. well, that would make it one of the earliest Amiga games. The earliest Amiga racing driving game that's any good is Highway Hawks. I believe that's by Anko of all people. It's actually more impressive than the Amiga version of this anyway. But it's for the ST. And you've got to remember in 1986 the Amiga would have cost you at least 1,250 quid in the UK. And that's if you had your own bloody telly, and that was for a 256K Amiga 1000. So yeah, we've just done that level, and it is what it is really. I think it could have been a lot worse actually. It's funny how there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 families that have, 9 of which are clones of the other, family, and they've also replicated their clothes, which is interesting. But no, that's a pretty good game for the ST. I would play that on the ST, and the music is not very good, but then the arcade music is rubbish anyway. So. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that one. Actually, I just noticed on the title page, 1988, the arcade game is 1986. You fool, Madcommodore. You fool! Still good for the ST though, for an early racing game. So, this is TNT. Now it's funny that Mainmeister had this on his ST, and I had this on my ST. Because it's quite an obscure game. Good luck finding a copy on eBay. It's basically a Commando knockoff. But this goes 100% in the, proof that a game that hasn't been play tested properly and has just been rushed out, they just give you loads of lives. Now what I did with this version, I actually downloaded a version that had unlimited lives. Now that's not a perfect solution, as we shall see. I must have left this bit running so people could hear the music. It's alright, the music actually. Right, so yeah, helicopter straight away. Right, there you go, instantly you lose a life. So that's Commando knockoff with a helicopter, got to get that in there. Everyone walks as if they got rickets. Not sure why they've gone with these colours for the water. But then, it's only 16 colours. Yeah, if I actually get going and manage to get the screen moving, I'll talk about the scrolling. Yeah, the scrolling is not bad actually. The graphics are very French. The French ST games had a certain sort of look to them, and this is a classic example. The way they used the 16 colours is completely different to like how the British games were. I did notice that actually. Not necessarily worse or better. But yeah, you do get a slowdown. The sound effects are like, well, I suppose they're okay. They are a bit tinny, but then that's the YM chip for you. At least they come out of the TV speaker. Right, that's not going to work, is it? So yeah, as you can see, you lose many lives. I think you get about 9 or 10 lives, even without any trainer options. But even back then, I think I only got to level 3, and then it was like, oh, I've got enough money to buy another ST game, so I did. And I don't think I came back to it after that. I think I loaded it up sometimes just to hear the music, but it is a really, really difficult game. And sometimes you get stuck on the scenery. So it's basically like Commando. Once you get to the end of the scrolling screen, 18. I think you start off with 18 lives, and this is where it will show you how many you've got left, and I'd have about fucking 6 or 7 left. But the graphics on this section are actually quite nice, actually. And you do walk under the leaves of the trees, so not only is the scrolling not too bad, except when they're slowed down, when there's too many like enemy soldiers on the screen. They are actually like, it's not like you can't walk under the trees, so. And this is quite an early game for the ST again. It's another one that never came out on the Amiga. We don't want it on the Amiga. Yeah, alright mate. You can pipe down. Well, sometimes the Amiga fucking community on the forums, they're a real fucking trudge to put up with, I tell you mate. Well anyway. But yeah, I mean, technically it's not bad, but it was just like put you like here is putting me in the line of fire straight away, and there's no way. I mean, you can't even see them. They're like hidden. There's no way you can see them. So it's a bit of a double-edged AK-47. Oh, my cat's investigating the camera now, and the camera is precariously balanced on a copy of Zim Salabim. It's a shit game, but the camera's not shit. Not that it really matters, because we'd be using the, you know, the screen captured footage from the emulator. So, as you can see, many lives are lost in this game. That's why you get so many lives. I think someone should do a conversion of Who Dares Wins for the ST and Amiga. That'd be nice. I actually had Ikari Warriors, I just remembered that, for the ST as well. I think that must have been just before I got an Amiga. There's quite a few games I had on the ST. But it did take a while to find a second-hand Amiga 1000, and I only got that relatively cheap because famously the doctor who was going to you know, get the more powerful Amiga 500 sold it to me for 275 quid. So that's how I got an Amiga 1000. By mail order from Compumart, mate. Yeah, no, I'm telling a lie. I'd rather be, I'd rather be doing these reviews while playing the game. But it's not really worth it if you're not playing them on real hardware. It's absolutely fine doing it like this. And well, to be honest. Retrotronics is such a dead channel, it's not really going to make any difference. Yeah, there's just certain places where if you lose a life, it's just going to constantly put you in the line of fire, and you'll just lose loads of lives. And he managed to get me. think the graphics on level 2 were probably my favourite. This is as far as I got. Now when I was playing the actual ST game, I think there's about 8 levels. It took ages to like get through them all because you lose so many lives. Really, you want invulnerability. My cat's just sat on me now, so what's going on, buddy? I can't even get up. Right. Where the hell is it putting me? Right, okay, so it puts you in a slightly different place each time, but look how many lives you just lose. It's just brutal. Yeah, it's just frustrating to watch this, never mind actually be playing it and doing your review at the same time. Oh, and those grenades they throw, you don't get any grenades, just so you know. I mean, I've lost about 20 bloody lives here. It's because someone keeps firing the grenades at me. And someone else is firing at me as well. So finally we managed to sort them out. So it's insanely difficult due to like bad design. And you can't really see the soldiers because they're always sort of like hiding behind trees and things like that. So, and the colours are very similar. It's like 5 shades of beige, 8 shades of green, 3 shades of brown, and a red beret, and machine gun in the top left corner, and machine gun fire. Very frustrating game. And then that happens and you get stuck and then you lose a life and you're like, no, please not here. You just really, see, the hit detection on the grenades is pathetic. Funny thing is, Commando on the Atari ST is actually really good, and so is Ghosts and Goblins by some miracle. They're both very close to the arcade, but Ikari Warriors and Ghouls and Ghosts is shit, but they're shit on the Amiga as well. It goes for both games. They don't really look like the arcade. I mean, it's just brutal. It doesn't really give you a try. It just puts you straight in front of them, and then you know, you're fucked, really. Yeah, it's not easy. They should have used a different palette, really. This is like a supercharged version of the, you know, the browns and yellows of like badly written C64 games. I think I'll discover in a minute that you could actually shoot through the wire fence. I think it was out of sheer frustration. There you go. And just as you clear them off, another bloody helicopter full of arseholes drops off in front of you. What is this, Vietnam? Enough with the arseholes dropping down from the helicopter. Go away. Madcommodore getting topical there. So, yeah, so it's not that the graphics are shit, they're just very difficult to like notice things, and it is a very difficult game. However, the bullets and the grenades are easy enough to tell. Whatever level you're on, they've done them in a colour that's easy to see, so that's okay. But seeing the soldiers when they're, you know, when there's places that they can be hiding in. See, I don't know if this is the end of the level now, because sometimes it won't let you scroll up anymore. See, it forced me to stay there, and I just want to keep scrolling up the screen. So it's really just a mad rush to get to the top with, you know, losing the least number of lives possible. I don't know why I was like messing about there. Just stop messing about, Madcommodore. Well, actually, I could be on a live stream right now, but yeah, like I said, you know my thoughts on the live stream. I don't really have a need to interact with people who refuse to come on my channel. Doesn't matter what system I do videos for. And one of them's a prick who keeps doing BBC Micro colour fucking graphics on the C64 anyway. So he can fuck off straight away. I can't remember what the next level looks like. Yeah, you just feel that the graphics are nice, but the palette choices are a bit too similar. It's kind of like a digital sepia tones. Now finally we've done this level. It's a miracle. So I've rescued the POWs, and that's the end of the game. So there isn't 8 levels. So yeah, that's TNT for you, mate. Mate. We'll get there in the end. Anyway, if you've ever seen or owned the C64 version, by the time you get to this stage you're already very happy with the music. And the quality of the coding is not too bad. So this is on the ST now, and like I said, that bloody Yamaha chip they stuck in the ST was a real problem for Atari. It's a problem that no amount of money saving can solve, because in the long run that's the sound chip they put in there, and that's what they've got to work with. Now on top of that, Turbo Outrun is nowhere near as good an arcade game as the original, comparing like the arcade with the, you know, with its prequel. Secondly, the coding quality is about the same as Outrun on the ST in terms of stuff being shifted around the screen, which does go down to about 1 or 2 frames per second sometimes. Ridiculous. It's like an animated slideshow at the moment, for fuck's sake. But the graphics do look more like the arcade than was the case with Outrun on the ST. So the graphics in the screenshots actually look alright, which is always a bonus for people who are just browsing games on the shop, especially if they're buying presents. I mean, the real problem in this game is the coding quality is so bad it affects the handling, obviously. I mean, in terms of frame rate, it's not really. Let's have a look at the turning. Yeah, the turning isn't really any better than Grand Prix Circuits by Accolade on the C64, which is a joke. And this game doesn't really need hardware sprites. Well, it would help with some of the scrolling, but it only appears like they're using two colours for those massive snowy mountains, stroke blancmanges on the floor, with the camera on the floor as well. So yeah, that's really a problem in this game. Pixel art's not bad, the music's always going to be shit compared to the C64 version. Because the C64 version has better music than the arcade anyway. Yeah, I mean look, they're going about 2 frames per second when things zoom past you. So really, you would need to play this on Atari Mega STE in 16 megahertz mode, and that came out a lot later than when the 520 STFM was $299.99, which had to go back up to $399.99 due to some sort of problem with the RAM chips. RAM just got really expensive, and Atari didn't manufacture their own RAM chips, obviously. I don't know if Commodore did, but Commodore did not react and put the price back up of the Amiga 500. So yeah, I mean, like I was saying, an Amiga ST was not cheap. It cost more than an Amiga 500 from what I can remember. I think you can get a graphics card for the Mega STE. It does have some sort of weird expansion anyway. Well, I have 2 of them. But you may not, in which case you're fucked, because this game is shit if you run it on a standard ST. But the pixel art is quite good. That's really the only saving grace for it. In the screenshots it looks much better than the C64 version. But that was the thing back then. I think it was CU Amiga or Zap64, I can't remember. One of them commented in the Amiga review, which I do believe they reviewed the C64 version at the same time, so it could actually be Zap64 and Amiga. They actually said the frame rate was better on the C64 version. And they weren't bloody lying, mate. Look at it, it's just an animated slideshow. It's as slow as Elite on the C64. Shit! Sidewinder on the Atari ST. Now, this is a £10 game, I believe, Mastertronic, and it's got the same sort of sample sound as the Amiga version, and well, the left and right scrolling there is not particularly smooth, obviously, but the vertical scrolling is all right. I mean, I'm more upset with the quality of the actual pixel art than the, you know, the quality of the vertical scrolling. It's not a very good game anyway. But yeah, it's famous for me, maybe not for you, but for me, because it's got I wouldn't say it was a horrible remix, but it's a very unusual remix. A very 80s, late 80s remix. Late 80s Amiga music. remix of Panther, my daily Goodson. On the Amiga you only get to hear that music while the game's loaded. So I'll leave the music running, but yeah, it's standard bread and butter business. It don't look great. It's not particularly smooth, and there's better shooting ups on the C64. So as an owner of a C64, I've never bought this, either on the Amiga or the ST. So now to do the ST hardware is just a crap game.